At the beginning of the story, we find ourselves on a small plantation located not far from the magic desert in the Ardell region. There, a landlord is eagerly awaiting the birth of his child from his wife. His wife gives birth to a baby boy who bears a striking resemblance to his father. The mother names the baby Lewin Ardell, hoping that he can be a light that illuminates this world. Several years later, it turns out that Lewin is very different compared to other children his age. One day, Begin, one of Lewin's father's subordinates, planned to go to the 8 lakes to fish. Lewin warned Begin not to visit the road near the South Mountain because the mana flow there was very strange. Begin was surprised and confused, not understanding what Lewin meant. Indeed, when Begin returned to his master's house, he came late, which made Lewin's father worried. Begin explained why he was late. Begin was late because he had to take a detour. Lewin's father asked what happened. Begin replied that he managed to avoid a disaster thanks to the help of the young master. "Huh? What do you mean?" asked Lewin's father. "On the road near South Mountain, because of the young master's words yesterday, I avoided that place," Begin continued. "I heard that place has been taken over by the Beastman." Lewin's father was increasingly surprised to hear Begin's answer. Begin added that everyone who went there was in danger, but he survived thanks to the help of young Master Lewin. Lewin's father was silent for a moment. Begin asked, "Can the young master sense the mana in the air?" Lewin's father wasn't quite sure about it, but he thought that if it was true, then Lewin would lead the future of Ardell. Since then, Lewin has continued to show rapid development in his magical talent. At the age of 6, Lewin was already able to sense mana, and by the age of 7, he could manifest it. At the age of 10, Lewin managed to defeat many children from renowned families at Ignite Magic Academy, the best magic academy in Radian. Not only that, Lewin was also chosen as the valedictorian with the nickname Genius. This nickname overwhelmed Lewin. He thought that his current achievements would elevate his family's social status. However, everything changed when Lewin was asked by a teacher to demonstrate his abilities as a valedictorian on the first day of class. Lewin was unable to cast his magic, and everyone was shocked to witness it. It turns out, Lewin suffered from magic evocation disease, which made his body lack the innate ability to cast magic. Moreover, Lewin was not able to cast his magic even up to a distance of 1 meter from his body. Lewin became disheartened because he considered himself as a wizard with the weakest body. The news spread so quickly that Lewin came from an ordinary family and had no talent. People's attitudes towards you changed quickly. You were even bullied and called a disabled person who couldn't use magic at the Magic Academy. Hearing this, you stared at the student who said so, but you were immediately beaten. You were just a toy for the students at that Magic Academy. You lamented this. You asked yourself, can you become a magician? You, Ardell, the name that was registered in the academy with the best scores, a name that was more promising than others. You felt this was a curse, where the magic genius at the Magic Academy became magic disabled. You felt that it was all over. However, unexpectedly, a miracle happened when you were very desperate. You entered a dimension that you didn't even know. Then there was a voice saying that you are the reincarnation of Draka, destroyer of worlds. Lewin saw a large figure. At first, Lewin thought this was just a dream, but it wasn't. Then the large figure seemed to say something. The story goes back to a few hours earlier, precisely in the training hall of Ignite Academy. You were asked to come forward by Heidel, a combat magic professor, to create a fireball and shoot it at the provided target. Fireball is a spell that all students at the academy should be able to perform, but it was very difficult for you who couldn't do that spell. Lewin hoped he could do it this time. Heidel yelled at you to do it immediately. You didn't give up and hoped that this time it would work. Lewin was determined to do it by any means. The fireball created by Lewin was very large. The other students were very surprised by the fireball created by Lewin. When Lewin wanted to shoot his fireball, his body felt pain. Lewin was urged to shoot it immediately, but Lewin couldn't do it. His fireball didn't want to leave Lewin's hand. Then, Heidel said that if he didn't shoot the fireball, he wouldn't pass. Lewin couldn't do it, and Lewin didn't pass this test. Lewin was mocked by the other students. How could the best student in his class not be able to perform the easiest magic? Because Lewin, a lowly local noble, entered the academy as valedictorian, this made his noble-born peers envious, and they made Lewin their enemy. Lewin could still face them, but the curse that had afflicted him for the last 6 years shattered his hopes from within. What kind of mana disease, evocation, made Lewin like this? Despite Lewin having endured until now, he wonders how long he can keep going. While in the academy's corridor, all the students were very happy with their exam results, except for Lewin. Walking alone, Lewin was confronted by a blonde-haired student named Ben Folt. Ben Folt said that if he were like Lewin, he would immediately return to the remote countryside. Ben Folt also mentioned that the juniors had given Lewin the nickname Foolish Lewin. Not only that, Ben Folt also insulted Lewin's family. Hearing that Ben Folt had insulted his father, Lewin immediately punched Ben Folt until his nose bled. Ben Folt's friend tried to hit Lewin. Lewin was able to dodge the punch and hit back at Ben Folt's friend. The angry Ben Folt tried to use magic to fight against Lewin. Professor Heidel tried to stop Ben Folt's attack on Lewin, but he was too late. Lewin was hit by Ben Folt's magic attack, and then Lewin saw the large figure again. The large figure had red eyes. Lewin was confused, not understanding what was actually happening. The figure called Lewin by the name Ardell. Lewin woke up. Upon opening his eyes, there was a woman who had been waiting for Lewin to wake up. The woman was Helen. She is a high-class healing magician. It turns out, Lewin was already in the recovery room. Lewin did not expect that he had fainted. He still clearly remembered seeing the large figure with red eyes. Lewin had been unconscious for a whole day. Helen was astonished and couldn't believe what she saw. Lewin was not seriously injured despite being struck by lightning directly. There were no damaged organs and no burn injuries. Lewin was silent, wondering how this could have happened. Lightning is a terrifying magic that can burn the body in an instant, especially when Lewin is struck directly. Why is Lewin okay? Not long after, Professor Haight came to check on Lewin's condition. After the incident with Lewin, an emergency meeting was held among the professors. As a result, Ben Folt was expelled from the academy for using magic that harmed people with a strong intent to kill and spreading false rumors about the head of the Ardell family. Lewin also received a punishment for having hit Ben Folt. Lewin's punishment was to perform voluntary service at the academy for 1 month. Professor Haight asked, "Do you have an artifact?" An artifact is a legendary weapon left by ancient magicians and has unlimited mana. Lewin answered, "Of course not. If I had something like that, I wouldn't be troubled." Yes, considering how valuable and rare it is, the head of the Ardell family would surely use it for the people in his family, Professor Haight continued. But why did the professor ask Lewin about it? Because Professor Haight saw a red light enveloping Lewin's body before the lightning struck him. It looked like a high-level artifact that was protecting Lewin, where it reflected Ben's magic. Lewin was confused. What artifact was Professor Haight referring to? Lewin had honestly told Professor Haight that he didn't know anything. After that, the professor didn't say a word. The experience Lewin had could not be distinguished between dream and reality. Then Lewin remembered a word said by that mysterious creature, which was status window. A blue screen appeared like a computer screen. Then Helen came asking about Lewin's condition. Lewin asked Helen, "Do you see a blue screen?" It turns out Helen didn't see what Lewin saw. On the blue screen, Lewin's status was written and could only be seen by himself. To not look strange, Lewin made an excuse to Helen. Because the examination results had come out and Lewin's condition was fine, he was allowed to return to the dormitory. Today, Lewin is completely normal, even after being struck by lightning. The blue screen also stated that Lewin is the incarnation of Draka, the Destroyer of World. And there is another strange window that appears in front of Lewin. It is written there to train Lewin's punches and kicks. The training must be done correctly in order for Lewin's power level to increase. After Lewin finished with that training, other skills opened up. Lewin felt something more fundamental than mana. He really became stronger. The energy that led to his magic became stronger. After that, Lewin opened the status window to see the open skills. It turns out the mana circle has been replaced with the force circle. Lewin's mana was replaced with strength. Those who feel and learn mana have a circle around their heart. The mana circle plays an important role in releasing and strengthening mana. The amount increases depending on the depth of its mana and the amount of mana that the magician can control. Lewin already has 4 mana circles. Lewin became more superior compared to other children his age, but because Lewin has limitations, he seemed as if he had no abilities at all. Lewin's mana circle completely disappeared. The circle of strength has replaced the energy spinning around the heart. Lewin's strength has evolved. He has a circle of strength and is very different from other wizards. Lewin thought this would be the end of him as a wizard because he does not have a mana circle. Because of this anxiety, Lewin wanted to prove the strength of his power circle. Lewin created a fireball, with the fireball forming very quickly and being very strong. When Lewin saw the very large size of the fireball, Lewin realized that this was the power of the artifact. Because magic has a basic actuation principle, it takes 10 seconds before the magic comes out. However, Lewin could freely skip that step and create a fireball with the power within his body. This is the real power of the artifact. A status window appeared again informing Lewin about the power of Magician of Madness. This Magician of Madness's method can attack enemies by loading magic into the user's body. Because someone named Draka also has an evocation disease similar to Lewin, and he fights by implanting himself with magic in his hands and feet. A command appeared to demonstrate this method. Lewin had to practice attacking a physical target. He never thought this method would exist. With this method, Lewin could become a wizard. Lewin tried this by creating a fireball, and he successfully performed this method. Lewin had successfully completed the mission, and it was very effective. Lewin always failed every time he was at the stage of releasing magic. However, with the help of a review on the status window, he managed to do it. Lewin became curious. What kind of individual was Draka? When thinking further about Draka, Lewin's body became heavier and made him fall asleep. Noisy sounds were heard from the academy students. When Lewin woke up, he was already surrounded by people. Lewin, without caring about others, stretched his refreshed body after waking up. The academy students were confused as to why Lewin fell asleep at the training ground. Lewin felt as if he had been reborn. As Lewin moved away from the crowd, the academy students realized that the scarecrow had shattered into pieces. Lewin returned to the dormitory and met his roommate named Jason Damon. Jason Damon is a good friend of Lewin. Jason asked Lewin why he left the dormitory last night. Because Lewin couldn't stand Jason's chatter, he rushed to the bathroom to calm his mind. While Lewin was taking a bath, he still managed to see the mission on the status window screen. Without numbers, the screen showed that Lewin had to increase his body strength. The amount of his training doubled. The mission could only be done once a day. Lewin had been training for a month. However, contrary to his constant reward, the required training increased day by day. If a day passed without fully completing the mission, all of Lewin's progress would be reset to 0. So it was certain that Lewin could not miss a single day. One good thing about this training is that Lewin's skills are improving. When Lewin was in class, he fell asleep. A drastic change occurred in him. Lewin, who is very enthusiastic about following lessons, is now lazy. It's only natural. Almost every day Lewin trains in the training hall until late at night. For a month, Lewin continued to train to complete all the existing missions. Lewin also sought clues about Draka. However, Lewin did not find any wizards named Draka in any historical records. Not only that, related to Destroyer of World status window quest, there were also no clues. Lewin was increasingly confused about who gave him this power. Then, Jason came to tell Lewin that the head of the Ardell family came to meet him. Yes, it was his father, Lewin. Hearing this, Lewin rushed to meet his father. His father was very happy to see his son Lewin, because it had been 6 years since he had met Lewin since entering the academy at the age of 10. Then Lewin asked about the condition of Lewina, his sister. Now she has grown up. Luina has recently been studying swordsmanship, said his father, Luin. Luina wants to protect her weak brother. Luin laughed hearing that. Luin said that his progress was getting better. My learning is going smoothly. I am not physically or mentally injured, said Luin. Actually, the purpose of his father, Luin, coming to the academy was to ask if Luin wanted to quit the academy, because his father already knew how difficult Luin's situation was at the academy and invited him to return to the territory. Luin could already guess why his father came to the academy after 6 years. Therefore, Luin pleaded to be given another chance. Luin promised to give the best results from his test later. If he fails, then Luin will do his father's will.